I knew we were in deep trouble when I walked into the server room Monday morning and heard nothing but silence. No cooling fans humming, no drives spinning, just dead quiet. That room had been my second home for 9 years, where I kept the financial heartbeat of Southwest Building Materials pumping strong. Without me running those systems, 10,500 construction workers across Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, and Colorado don't get their paychecks on Friday. And when construction workers don't get paid, they don't just file complaints, they shut down job sites and walk away. I'm Russell Parker, 48 years old, and I've been the senior database administrator here since this company was half its current size. Before that, I spent 8 years in the Navy learning how systems really work under pressure. Now I run the payroll backend for everything from concrete crews in Houston to crane operators in Phoenix. Let me tell you something about construction payroll that most people don't understand. It's not like calculating paychecks for office workers who show up 9 to 5 every day. These guys work in 110-degree heat and below freezing cold. They climb 200 feet up on steel beams. They pour concrete during storms when people need their power restored. They work overtime, weekends, holidays. They deserve every penny they earn, and they deserve to get it exactly right, exactly on time. The system I maintain isn't some shiny cloud-based solution from a sales brochure. It's a complex beast built on Oracle databases, custom Unix scripts, and 9 years of modifications I've made with the precision of a Navy mechanic working on a nuclear reactor. I know every workaround, every potential failure point, every quirk in the code. When Arizona changed their prevailing wage laws last year, I rewrote the calculation engine in 72 hours straight. When OSHA updated their reporting requirements, I built the compliance module from scratch while drinking coffee at 3 in the morning. You want to know how complex this gets? Try calculating overtime for a crew that starts work in Texas on Monday, moves to New Mexico Wednesday, then finishes the week in Colorado. Each state has different labor laws, different tax rates, different union contracts. Then add equipment rental tracking, hazard pay for working near chemical storage, and federal prevailing wages for government contracts. Lindsay's Excel spreadsheet was about to meet reality, and reality doesn't care about your pivot tables. But corporate headquarters doesn't see it that way. They see an old system that needs modernizing, and they see me as the guy blocking progress. That's where Jordan Matthews comes in. Jordan is the VP of Operations, and more importantly, he's the chairman's son. 3 months ago, our company got acquired by Matthews Construction Holdings, a conglomerate that owns everything from cement plants to equipment rental chains across the Southwest. Jordan came in with a mandate to streamline operations and eliminate redundancies. Translation, fire expensive people and replace them with cheaper solutions. I'd met Jordan a few times in passing. He's one of those guys who shows up to construction sites wearing a $2,000 suit and stays in his air-conditioned truck while real workers sweat in the sun. Got his MBA from some prestigious East Coast school and thinks every business problem can be solved with PowerPoint presentations and buzzwords like digital transformation and operational efficiency. The meeting happened on a Tuesday. Jordan called me into his office along with Sharon Davis from HR. Sharon's been here almost as long as I have, but she's always been more worried about protecting the company than protecting employees. She had that nervous energy of someone who knows bad news is coming but has to deliver it with a smile. Jordan's office looked like something from a business magazine. A glass desk, leather chairs, and windows overlooking the equipment yard that he probably never actually looked at. He was tapping on his tablet when I walked in, making me wait while he finished whatever urgent task required his immediate attention. "Russell," Jordan said, without looking up from his screen, "we're restructuring the IT department, moving to a more agile, cost-effective model." I sat down across from his desk. "What does that mean for payroll operations?" That's where it gets exciting. Jordan finally looked at me with the kind of smile car salesmen practice in mirrors. "I want you to meet my niece, Lindsay. She just finished her MBA, and she's built an incredible model that's going to revolutionize how we handle payroll. Here's the thing about family businesses. Competence always takes a backseat to bloodlines. I'd seen it before at other companies, but I thought our operation was too critical for that kind of nonsense. I was wrong. Lindsay Matthews walked in like she owned the place, which through family connections, she basically did. She was 25 years old, wearing a business suit that probably cost more than most of our workers make in a week, and carrying an iPad like it contained the secrets of the universe. "Hi, Russell," she said, extending a perfectly manicured hand. I've been reviewing your processes, very thorough, but also very manual. I think we can do better. The way she said manual made it sound like I was still using stone tablets and an abacus. Better how? I asked, though I already had a sinking feeling about where this was headed. Lindsay set her iPad on Jordan's glass desk and started swiping through screens with the confidence of someone who'd never seen a real system crash and burn. I've built a comprehensive payroll solution in Excel. It's cloud-based, it's intuitive, and it can handle all the calculations you're currently doing with those old SQL databases. I stared at her for a long moment. Excel? You want to run payroll for 10,500 construction workers with a spreadsheet. Not just any spreadsheet, Lindsay said, getting defensive. This is pivot tables, conditional formatting, automated macros. It's like having a database, but user-friendly. User-friendly. That's what they always say when they want to replace something that actually works with something that looks prettier. I've been in this business long enough to know that user-friendly usually means it works great until it doesn't, and then you're screwed because nobody understands what's happening under the hood. I looked at Jordan, hoping to see some sign that he understood how insane this was. Is this serious? It's innovation, Russell, Jordan said, leaning back in his leather chair. Lindsay's model can reduce processing time by 60% and cut our IT overhead significantly. There it was, cut IT overhead. What they meant was they could fire me and pay Lindsay a fraction of my salary. I'd seen this movie before at other companies. Young MBA comes in, promises the world with some half-baked solution. Experienced employee gets shown the door. 6 months later, they're begging the old guy to come back and fix the mess. The payroll run is Friday, I said, keeping my voice level. Today is Tuesday. If you're planning to switch systems, you need to understand what you're dealing with. I started counting off on my fingers. We have prevailing wage calculations for government contracts, union versus non-union, differentials that change based on project type and consecutive days worked. Equipment rental tracking that has to be cross-referenced with GPS data, OSHA compliance reporting, multi-state tax withholdings where a guy can start the week in Texas and finish it in Colorado. Lindsay was nodding along like she was following, but I could see her eyes glazing over. She thought she understood because she'd read about payroll in some textbook. I've accounted for all of that, she interrupted. My model includes lookup tables for all state regulations and automated tax calculations. Lookup tables. The Arizona Prevailing Wage Database alone has 847 different job classifications with different rates depending on which county you're working in. The union contracts have overtime rules that would make a tax lawyer's head spin. You've got guys who get time and a half after 8 hours, double time after 12, but only if they're working on certain types of projects. Then you've got hazard pay that kicks in, if they're working within 500 feet of chemical storage, but the rate changes based on what chemicals and how close they are. Lindsay, I said, trying to keep the condescension out of my voice, have you ever calculated prevailing wages for a federal highway project? I've studied the regulations, she said. Studying and doing are two different things. You know what happens when you get prevailing wages wrong on a federal contract. The Department of Labor comes in and audits everything. They can fine us for every hour that was calculated incorrectly going back 3 years. Jordan waved his hand dismissively. We'll have compliance reviews. Lindsay's model includes error checking. Error checking in Excel, like conditional formatting was going to catch it when some crew foreman in El Paso enters his time wrong, and Lindsay's lookup formula returns the wrong wage rate for 40 guys working a government job. Russell, Sharon finally spoke up. We'll need you to provide Lindsay with all necessary passwords and documentation for a smooth transition. Documentation? I laughed, but there was no humor in it. Most of the critical processes are in custom scripts I wrote over the past 9 years. The real knowledge isn't documented anywhere. It's in my head. That's the thing about systems that actually work in the real world. They're not built from textbooks. They're built by people who've been doing the job long enough to know where all the problems hide. I know that the time clock system in the Phoenix warehouse has a glitch where it sometimes double stamps entries after 11 p.m., but only on Wednesdays and only if the network load is high. I know that the union contract for the concrete crews has a clause about meal breaks that nobody else remembers. But if you don't account for it, the guys don't get their meal penalty pay. Lindsay doesn't know any of that. She's got her pretty spreadsheet with color-coded cells and fancy formulas. But she's never had to explain to Big Hank Morrison why his crane operators are showing up as earning less than minimum wage because some calculation went sideways. Then we'll need you to document everything before you go, Jordan said. And that's when I knew for sure they'd already made their decision. They weren't asking for my input or trying to understand why their plan was doomed. They were giving me my walking papers and expecting me to train my replacement. When's my last day? I asked. Friday, Jordan said. After the payroll run. We want to ensure a smooth transition. And if the transition isn't smooth, Lindsay jumped in again. It will be. I've tested my model extensively. On what data? Sample data from the HR system, plus some theoretical scenarios. Sample data, theoretical scenarios. She'd tested her revolutionary payroll solution on make-believe numbers. It was like testing a race car by driving it around a parking lot at 5 miles per hour and then assuming it would handle the Indianapolis 500. I stood up, my knees popping the way they do when you've been sitting too long. Or when you're about to make a decision, you know you'll either regret or celebrate. All right then, I said. I guess we'll see how it goes. That's the spirit, Jordan said, already looking back at his tablet. I walked toward the door, then stopped and turned back to Lindsay. One piece of advice. She looked up from her iPad, probably expecting some technical tip about database connections. When the system crashes, I said, and it will crash, don't panic. Just remember that 10,500 people are counting on their paychecks to pay rent and buy groceries. That might help you prioritize. The look on her face told me she still didn't get it. She thought this was just numbers on a screen. She had no idea she was about to be responsible for people's lives. I didn't argue anymore. I didn't try to explain why Lindsay's approach was doomed to fail worse than a paper airplane in a hurricane. Sometimes the best teacher is experience, and Lindsay was about to get an education that no MBA program could provide. The next 3 days were like watching a slow-motion car crash. I spent Wednesday and Thursday doing exactly what they asked, documenting everything I could think of, creating user guides and writing step-by-step instructions. But here's the thing about complex systems that have evolved over 9 years. You can't document institutional knowledge. You can't write down the gut feeling you get when something doesn't look right, or the instinct that tells you to double-check a calculation because it seems off by just enough to matter. Lindsay shadowed me those 2 days, taking notes on her iPad and asking questions that showed she had no clue what she was getting into. Why do you manually verify the Arizona wage classifications? She asked Wednesday morning as I ran through the pre-payroll checks. Because the state database has been corrupted since 2019, I explained. It shows the right wage rates, but about 3% of the job classifications return wrong county codes. If you don't catch it, guys working in Phoenix get paid Tucson rates, which is about $4 an hour difference. Can't we just fix the database? It's a state system. We don't control it, we just have to work around it. She made a note on her iPad. I could see her typing "fix state database issue" like that was something she could handle with a phone call. Thursday afternoon, Lindsay was feeling confident enough to start importing real data into her Excel model. I watched her upload the raw time files from our 47 different job sites across 4 states. The spreadsheet immediately started lagging. "It's just loading," she said, clicking refresh repeatedly while Excel churned through 10,500 employee records. But I could see what was happening. Her lookup formulas were hitting circular references because she didn't understand how prevailing wage calculations cascade. When you've got federal, state, and local wage requirements that can all apply to the same job, you can't just use a simple VLOOKUP. You need conditional logic that checks multiple criteria in a specific order. "Lindsay," I said carefully, "you might want to test that on a smaller data set first. It'll be fine," she replied. But I could hear the uncertainty creeping into her voice as Excel's memory usage spiked and the program started freezing. Friday morning came, and it was time for the official handoff. Lindsay showed up early with her laptop and the kind of nervous energy you see in rookie drivers before their first race.
"Ready to make history?"
she asked, trying to sound confident. I gathered my personal items while she set up at my workstation. Coffee mug that said "World's Okayest Database Admin," photo of my Harley, and a bottle of bourbon I kept for emergencies. Seemed appropriate to take it with me. Something told me they'd be needing it more than I would. "The bank cutoff for direct deposits is noon," I reminded her. "After that, people don't get paid until Monday." "Got it," Lindsay said, already focused on her screen where Excel was grinding through the payroll data like a wood chipper trying to process a telephone pole. I started to leave, then stopped. "Lindsay, one more thing. When this goes sideways, and it will go sideways, don't try to fix it by running the calculations again. Each time you reprocess, you create duplicate entries in the system. Fix the problem first, then rerun. She wasn't really listening. She was staring at her screen where the spreadsheet was showing error values in about half the cells. Sharon walked me to the security desk where Roy Sullivan was waiting with my severance paperwork. Roy's a good guy, ex-Marine who understands the value of knowing your job inside and out. "Sorry to see you go, Russell," Roy said as I signed the documents. "This doesn't feel right. It's just business, Roy. Bad business, but business nonetheless." I drove home in my pickup truck, windows down, classic rock on the radio. I should have been angry, but mostly I felt like I was watching a disaster movie where you know the asteroid is going to hit, but the characters haven't figured it out yet. My phone started buzzing around 10:30 a.m. Text from Luis Martinez, one of the payroll clerks. "Russell, Lindsay's spreadsheet is showing weird numbers. My overtime calculation says I worked negative hours last week." Then another text from Steve Walsh in the Phoenix office. "Dude, according to this payroll report, I make $847 an hour as a concrete finisher. I wish." By 11 a.m., my phone was lighting up like a Christmas tree. Guys from all over our territory were seeing their pay stubs in the employee portal, and nothing made sense. Employee ID numbers were getting mixed up with social security numbers. Job classifications were scrambled. Crane operators were showing up as office clerks. Concrete finishers were listed as executives. The funniest one came from Tony Ramirez, a foreman in El Paso. "Russell, my pay stub says I worked 2,847 hours last week and my net pay is $12,000. Did I rob the company or did the company rob me?" I could picture exactly what had happened during the data import. Lindsay had mixed up the column headers. Employee ID numbers were being used as hours worked, and hours worked were being treated as pay rates. Excel was trying to calculate wages using social security numbers as multipliers, but the real disaster was still coming. The weird numbers in the employee portal were just the appetizer. The main course would be served at noon when the bank tried to process Lindsay's payroll file for electronic deposits. At 11:45 a.m., my phone rang. It was Sharon from HR. "Russell," her voice was tight with panic. "We need to talk. Lindsay's payroll file is showing some irregularities." "Irregularities? According to her calculations, we owe the federal government $2 in tax withholdings this week, but we only collected $180,000 from employee paychecks." I pulled into my driveway and sat in the truck, listening to Sharon explain how Lindsay's Excel model had managed to create what was essentially a mathematical black hole. Also, Sharon continued, "The bank is questioning why we're trying to direct deposit $47,000 to one concrete mixer in Albuquerque, while simultaneously deducting $23,000 from a crane operator's pay for something called equipment rental recovery fees. Has anyone told Jordan yet? He's in meetings all day." Lindsay said she could fix it. Famous last words. I'd heard them before, from every overconfident rookie who thought they could patch a sinking ship with duct tape and good intentions. "Sharon," I said, "you might want to cancel those meetings." By 2 p.m., Southwest Building Materials wasn't a construction company anymore. It was a disaster zone. The bank had rejected Lindsay's payroll file so hard it probably left scorch marks on their servers. According to their automated response, we were attempting to transfer invalid amounts to invalid accounts using invalid routing protocols. The employee portal had crashed under the weight of 10,500 workers trying to figure out why their pay stubs looked like they'd been written by a drunk accountant having a nervous breakdown. Some guys were showing overtime rates of $800 and $407 an hour. Others had negative salaries and somehow owed the company money for the privilege of working there. But the real fireworks started when the union got involved. Hank Morrison has been representing construction workers for 25 years. He's built like a linebacker, talks like a truck driver, and has zero patience for corporate nonsense. When his guys don't get paid, Hank doesn't send strongly worded emails. He shuts things down. By 3 p.m., Hank was standing on the back of a pickup truck outside our main office with a megaphone, and trucks were lining up behind him. Southwest Building Materials thinks they can play games with working people's paychecks. His voice boomed across the parking lot. "If they can't figure out how to pay us, maybe we should stop working for them." The wildcat strike spread faster than gossip at a high school reunion. Phoenix sites shut down first, then Albuquerque, then the highway project outside Denver. By 4 p.m., every Southwest Building Materials job site in 4 states had gone quiet. 10,500 workers sitting in their trucks, posting videos on social media, calling local news stations. The footage was beautiful in a tragic sort of way. Aerial shots of idle construction sites, interviews with workers holding pay stubs that made no mathematical sense, union reps explaining to reporters how a company that builds half the infrastructure in the Southwest couldn't figure out basic payroll. My phone kept buzzing with updates from Roy and the other guys still inside the building. Roy texted, "Lindsay's locked herself in the conference room. She's been trying to fix her spreadsheet for 3 hours, but every time she changes something, it breaks something else." Another text, "Jordan's been screaming at IT support." All afternoon, apparently Lindsay deleted the original data when she tried to reload the file. That made me chuckle. Of course she did. When you're panicking and something's not working, the natural impulse is to start over. But when you start over in Excel without backing up your work, you lose everything. Lindsay had just erased the only copy of the raw payroll data, and the backup systems only work if someone who knows what they're doing set them up properly. Tuesday morning, I was sitting on my porch drinking coffee and reading news articles about our payroll crisis when my phone rang. Jordan Matthews. "Russell." His voice sounded like he'd been gargling gravel. "We need to talk." "Morning, Jordan, saw you on the news last night. Nice interview. I especially liked the part where you said the problems were caused by unforeseen technical complications during a routine system upgrade. Cut the jokes. The State Labor Board is opening investigations in 4 states. The union is talking about a class action lawsuit. The bank froze our operating accounts because our payroll file made their fraud detection system think we'd been hacked. Sounds like quite a situation. I need you to come back." Consulting basis. Name your price. I'd been waiting for this call since Friday afternoon. $12,000 cash up front, plus a new contract at 75% above my old salary. Done. I'm not finished. I want a public apology from you and Lindsay posted on the company website, admitting that the payroll problems were caused by premature implementation of an inadequate system. Long silence. Then fine. And one more thing, I report directly to the CIO now, not to operations. I'm done dealing with people who think Excel is enterprise software. Whatever you need, Russell, just fix this. I drove back to the office Wednesday morning. The parking lot still had union guys camped out, but they waved when they saw my truck. Hank Morrison walked over as I was getting out. "Russell, tell me you're here to save our asses. Working on it, Hank? You guys should see some action by Thursday morning. What about back pay for the time we've been sitting here? Every penny, with overtime for the guys who were scheduled to work." I walked into the building like I owned it, because for the next few days I basically did. The server room felt like coming home after a long trip. I fired up my workstation and started digging through the wreckage Lindsay had left behind. It was worse than I'd expected. She hadn't just corrupted the payroll data. She'd managed to lock the database tables, create circular references in the tax calculation modules, and somehow convince the system that we employed 847,000 people named EAR. It took me 18 hours of solid work, but I rebuilt everything from the archived transaction logs. Real backups, stored on systems Lindsay didn't even know existed. By Thursday morning, I had a clean payroll file ready for the bank. I hit the transmit button at 6 a.m. The electronic funds transfer went through without a hitch. 10,500 workers would wake up to find their correct paychecks waiting, plus overtime pay for the days they'd lost sitting in the parking lot. Friday morning, I walked into Jordan's office. He looked like he'd aged 10 years in a week. "It's done," I said. "Everyone's been paid correctly, including compensation for the strike days." "Thank you," he said quietly. "Where's Lindsay? Reassigned to marketing research." Turns out family connections only go so far when you cost the company millions of dollars and nearly trigger a federal investigation. And my new office, Jordan gestured toward the corner office with windows overlooking the equipment yard. "All yours." I had them put in a new coffee machine. I walked to my new desk and sat down in the leather chair. Through the window, I could see the construction sites coming back to life. Cranes moving, trucks rolling out with full crews. My phone buzzed with a text from Roy. "Heard Lindsay's working in marketing now. Think she can handle calculating ad impressions?" I opened my desk drawer and pulled out the bottle of good bourbon I'd been saving for a special occasion. This qualified. Sometimes the old ways are the best ways. Sometimes experience trumps innovation. And sometimes when corporate tries to fix what isn't broken, they learn the hard way that some jobs require more than just an MBA and an Excel spreadsheet. I poured a shot into my coffee mug and raised it toward the window. Here's to keeping the systems running and making sure working people get what they've earned. 6 months later, Southwest Building Materials was running smoother than it had in years. The corner office suited me just fine, and I'd hired 2 junior database administrators to help handle the workload. Jordan and I had developed a grudging mutual respect. He still didn't understand the technical side, but he'd learned to trust the people who did. Lindsay lasted another month in marketing before quietly leaving for a position at her father's consulting firm. Word was she'd sworn off Excel for anything more complex than her personal budget. As for me, I was exactly where I belonged. In the Navy, we had a saying, "The right person in the right job at the right time." Took them a while to figure it out, but they got there eventually. That's worth drinking to. Sometimes the most dangerous person in a company isn't the one who doesn't know what they're doing. It's the one who thinks they know everything but has never been tested by real consequences. You can replace a person's job title, but you can't download 9 years of hard-earned wisdom into a spreadsheet. And when the stakes are 10,500 families depending on their paychecks, there's no substitute for someone who's been there when it all falls apart.